Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new Jurassic World Dominion video. In today's Jurassic World Dominion video we have another theory that I feel like I have described very well. It's something that has been bothering me ever since we knew that locusts were going to be in the movie. Why on earth were they going to be in the movie in the first place? Well, now we have confirmation that they are a subplot, and a lot of other confirmation kind of ties into this little theory I'm going to be discussing. And to be honest, this is a very interesting theory if you were to ask me. I feel like this might be one of the best theories that I'm putting out on the internet because I have spent ages, and I do mean ages, probably about 2 months now, working on this theory, trying to figure out why the locusts are important for Jurassic World Dominion. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're excited for Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World Evolution 2 DLCs, and Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. Basically, if you want to know anything to do with the Jurassic verse, this is definitely the #1 channel to be at. So don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and also check out the new merch, and tell me what team you're on by purchasing either a Team Tyrannosaurus or a Team Giganotosaurus shirt instead, to celebrate the launch of Jurassic World Dominion in just a few days time. But, locusts, and why are they important? I'm going to be starting off this theory in a very weird manner, but trust the process, we will get to the purpose of it in just a second. So with a few interviews regarding Colin Trevorrow, he actually mentioned many things about the plot. Not too spoilery, but one of the main plot details was that the story is driven by Ellie Sattler. Originally when thinking that, I didn't really think too much of it, but when we look back through the trailers, it seems as if she has her own farm. And one of the main problems that she seems to be coming across with the farm is merely the locusts eating what seems to be some sort of crop. Now with some interviews taking place with Laura Dern, it seems as if her story, since her background depicts loads of locusts and wheat, her story is something to do with her farm and the locusts. Now, moving on, throughout the trailer we also know that Ellie approaches Alan within his tent, and it's a sudden shock. With a brand new clip we have some information saying that Alan Grant says, "You didn't just come all this way to catch up now, did you?"
Ellie, you didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
Well, that's because in another new image I believe she answers that exact question. In an image that was released I believe about 2 weeks ago, we see that there is a giant prehistoric locust right in front of Alan Grant, and I can only assume that Ellie Sattler has caught one of these buggers and decided to go and show Alan Grant and want his help. So overall, it is clear that Ellie has been affected by these locusts from her farm, which seem to be flying around from a crop field. And again, she has brought one of those locusts in a cage towards Alan Grant, when I assume that she is mainly going to him for some help. And with the massive flock of the prehistoric bugs, I can only assume that they are doing something of the sort that locusts usually do, and that is eat loads of crop. So again, I can only assume that Ellie has an issue with these bugs and wants Alan Grant's help, and that's how the story for the subplot of the locusts is formed. However, there have been some other screenshots from Empire magazine which shows that Biosyn have a big factor to play around these prehistoric locusts. And my assumption is that they most likely created them. There is a screenshot out there, which is probably the thumbnail to be honest, of Dr. Wu looking and researching this giant prehistoric locust. And we can only assume that Dr. Wu is now working for Biosyn, as I believe he did in the books, correct me if I'm wrong. So it seems like the plotline of the locusts and Biosyn is coming into play here. Now, the new canonical website, dinotracker.com, it shows that Biosyn isn't just Biosyn Genetics, they actually have multiple of other companies, meaning that they could be trying to expand what they are overall. They want to be the #1 priority, the #1 company out there. And I believe with some of the names there, they seem to be more about pharmaceutical. But however, from the books, we know just how sinister Biosyn can be. So by owning all of these companies, there is a possibility that Biosyn are trying to be the only important company in the Jurassic Universe. This way they can eliminate any competition and also gain loads of revenue. Now, the stories of the world and the park characters do in fact collide at some stage, and it's been confirmed that they do. I believe there was also a TV spot somewhere out there where Maisie is in sudden shock saying you guys were from Jurassic Park, and then Ellie says you were at Jurassic World.
You're Dr. Dr. Ellie Sattler and Helen Grant. You were at Jurassic World.
You were at Jurassic World.
And I believe when this takes place is when they are in the Biosyn Sanctuary, so I assume that they do meet on later in the movie, not too early on. So the possible storyline of them meeting together could be that Owen goes to save Blue, Claire tries to save Maisie, and then Alan and Ellie try to stop Biosyn from creating these locusts, if that is true. Now, with the sinister plans of Biosyn and the prehistoric locusts being made by them, and also with the ownership of other companies, Biosyn could have actually made these locusts in order to feed off the crops of other people that aren't using Biosyn products. This could be products such as seeds. Biosyn could also be creating some sort of crop seed that generates wheats for other people to grow, and the way that they can eliminate competition is releasing a prehistoric giant locust into the world that eats seeds that aren't specified to Biosyn's creations. So what we could be seeing here is some sort of storyline where the giant prehistoric locusts are flying around the globe and eating seeds from farm owners who are not using Biosyn seeds instead. That way they are able to sell more seeds and earn more revenue without the blame being put on them. Because as I'm sure you guys have clocked by now, Biosyn are not going to publicly say that they created these prehistoric locusts. Now obviously we know through a featurette that Ellie and Alan do start wearing Biosyn clothing, and I assume that they break into the facility. So what this scene could potentially be is Ellie and Alan breaking into Biosyn, where they are trying to gather some sort of evidence to prove Biosyn's horrid plans with these prehistoric locusts. And that's why these locusts are much more important than what we originally thought for Jurassic World Dominion. I know it's a very confusing theory, but basically the story is mainly driven by Ellie Sattler. She's having problems with these prehistoric locusts on her farm. She goes to see Alan Grant regarding them. I assume that she's either got a tip off or she knows about Biosyn and potentially thinks that they could be behind it. Biosyn are creating these prehistoric bugs which go and eat the crops that aren't using Biosyn seeds to create the crops. That way they get more revenue, but they don't mention that they've created these bugs. It seems to be some sort of natural recursion. And then I assume that Ellie and Alan break into Biosyn, gather the evidence, and Bob's your uncle. That's the new story about why these prehistoric locusts are important. Again, you know, I probably should have said a spoiler alert right at the start of the video, but this is merely just a theory for now from what we know so far regarding these locusts in Jurassic World Dominion. I don't know, I felt like these are very important and important enough to warrant a big plot line, so I tried to figure it out, and this is the best I can do. I've tried other ways. They kind of have some things where they don't really add up or make sense. This is the best theory that seems to be foolproof at this point in time and have enough answers to questions about. But most intriguingly, I'd like to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know if this is a real possibility about why these locusts could be important to Jurassic World Dominion, or if you have any idea of what they could also be throughout this movie. But all I ask for from you guys today is don't forget to like and subscribe, and importantly, stay safe out there, because I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.